In Agile environments, we don't need steering committees. Steering committees are a dying species. They're part of an outdated governance structure which is not suitable anymore for today's fast-paced, product-oriented environments. Hi, I'm Martin Kramer. This is Learning Breakthroughs, a series of short videos of my own and my friends' learning breakthroughs. This session is on steering committees in the Agile world. In a nutshell, what is a steering committee? In the context of IT, a steering committee, or STICO, is a governance tool that business stakeholders use to control the execution of IT investment projects. Steering committees are meetings in which high-level decisions are made. They take place regularly, but not too often. Usually once a month, or once a quarter, or sometimes even just twice per year. Okay, so far so good. Here's my story and my learning breakthrough. For a few years, I've been an IT program and portfolio manager. And running a whole bunch of IT projects within my portfolio, I would attend many steering committees, sometimes several per week. Needless to say, we ran these IT projects in waterfall style, and steering committees would occur when moving from one phase to the next phase. As I participated in many of these meetings, I started to get a good understanding of how steering committees work and how to successfully steer projects through them. At one point in time, I really got frustrated about how some of the project managers prepared and ran steering committees. Thus, I partnered with the change management team, and together we created a training on steering committees and had our project managers take it. That dramatically improved the way how we conducted these meetings. Now I'm telling this story to create the background for understanding my mindset when I started my first engagement with ThoughtWorks, a software consultancy and a thought leader within the Agile movement. In one of my first discussions, I asked the client project manager on how they would run steering committees. Well, I thought maybe I would be able to contribute from my experience. To my surprise, he told me that they would not have any steering committees. Interesting, I thought. We started developing the first MVP, and as it is with all interesting initiatives, there are points when things get rough, right? You know that. I don't recall the specific issue, but there was something that we wanted to change, and I remembered my experience about STICOs again. So I went to see Eric Dernenberg, who at that time was a technical principal on that engagement. I asked him about his opinion on setting up a governance group and establishing regular STICOs. Now Eric was really very clear and advised me to stop following that route. One of his main arguments was that with the way STICOs are usually set up, we would shift the responsibility to make decisions away from the teams who actually build the product and towards another group. We would therefore create a communication channel aside from the core team. I thought about his remarks and started investigating. Consequently, I found quite a few quite severe disadvantages for STICOs in the context of Agile software delivery. First, the object of the steering committee, the IT project, is simply the wrong granularity for steering. Second, the principle of small batch sizes is in sharp contrast to the way how STICOs are executed. Third, a STICO is part of the governance model created to control contractors. This contractor control mindset is opposed to the idea of empowered, self-organizing cross-functional product teams. Fourth, STICOs destroy accountability. They take it away from the delivery teams to put it into a group of people who are usually quite far away and distant from the content. Fifth, the timing of STICOs is wrong. The time between two STICO meetings is way too long. 6. STICOs establish a side channel next to the decision making in Agile delivery teams and are a cause of misalignment and frustration. 7th, stikos sometimes just don't get the job done that they are set up to. The issues in more detail. Let me start with governance. The overarching idea is that business selects an IT project as an investment. This leads to a project running through a series of distinct phases which are separated by quality gates. And at each gate there's a possibility to halt the project. Thus, the focus of the STIKO is on the IT project. And that can be quite large. That can be quite a large object to steer. When we think about the principle of small batch sizes, the classical steering committee appears in a different, less favorable light, since we batch together many different features or requirements into a project. Instead, you might think, how can we steer on a much finer level? Could we steer on the story level, for example? One of our main goals in modern software development is speed and fast feedback. Again, a classical STIKO does not look too good in that regard. STIKOs are often used to ask management for help to unblock a task, for instance, or to get support from another team in the organization, or to get an approval to test a deliverable with end users. But STIKOs don't happen on a weekly basis. I've often experienced situations in which teams batch together their request for help to ask for that in the next steering committee. Obviously, this is not the way to achieve fast feedback, but rather the opposite. With implementing governance structures, including STIKOs, that way, the delivery teams are basically told it's not for them to make the decision. Decisions are to be made in steering committees. This is pretty much the opposite of empowering your teams. Here's a metaphor. Think of a soccer team playing a match. In that situation, kicking the ball into the left or the right corner of the goal is an important decision. Yet, you would not think about going back to the coach, asking which way to kick, or if you should pass the ball to your teammate who might be in a better position to score. When the team is in the match, they are autonomous. They have practiced their moves and tactics, and now they need to make their own decisions. Speed of execution is a key to success. Think of that in a business scenario. And then, how do you steer autonomous teams? How much freedom to act and decide do the teams have? How's your org model set up to allow for autonomy? Is empowerment an integral part of your organization or just a mere lip service? That's a question of values and how these values are actually lived in your organization. Way too often, STIKOs simply don't get the job done. As Mark Schwartz nicely says in his book, Seat at the Table, overseers control the project by threatening blame. That is, in a STIKO, the project team needs to report if a project is on track. For instance, if the current status of the executed activities match what was planned at that point in time. The project then is green. If not, the team reports amber or red. And in that case, the delivery team is blamed and actions are demanded to turn around the situation, often irrespectively of what the reason for the delay or overrun is. And there can be many reasons. I've been involved in a long-running project with a very heavyweight governance structures and regularly, meticulously prepared steering committees involving the VP sales, the CIO, and many other important stakeholders. And yet this project failed miserably because we successfully delivered something that was not needed by the customers. If we would have asked and listened to our customers, we would have very soon figured out that what we were building was the wrong thing. STIKOs not only consume a lot of effort, energy, and time, they also give senior management the wrong impression of being in control. Going back to the program I talked about initially. Now, 3.5 years later, we have delivered many of the anticipated values. But we did not need a single STIKO for that. We even did not need a single escalation to upper management. One day we were showing the project environment with the way we work to a group of European CIOs of a large manufacturing company. When we came to the point that we don't have STIKOs in place, some of the CIOs would simply not believe us. One senior leader then really got the consequences and took me by the side and told me, look, now I understand what the impact of governance and on some of the middle management is. He continued and said, I'm okay with that. I will be retired soon, but there's a whole layer of IT middle management that is not needed anymore. So what do you do instead? First of all, we need to recognize that an agile working environment requires a complete paradigm shift when coming from the waterfall world. Thus, we cannot expect to have or even require a one-to-one replacement for a governance tool from the waterfall world. Nevertheless, let's have a short look at half a dozen different ingredients of a steering committee and how to address them in an agile context. Number 1, making investment decisions and starting projects. This falls into the area of lean and agile portfolio management. I've created a whole video on that and you might want to check this out. There's also a great book called Edge that covers this topic. It's written by my colleagues Jim Highsmith and Linda Liu and Dave Robinson. Number 2, the financials. I've often established a monthly review of the financials with the project manager and the controllers. Monthly, since invoicing is usually done on a monthly level. This is a rather straightforward meeting. In any way, if you want to have a financially stable initiative, run it in an agile way. That is, you invest in a stable delivery capacity and the financials become an easy topic. Here's another great book, I already said about this, Seat at the Table by Mark Schwartz. He also covers other clashes between waterfall governance and the agile world. Number 3, getting support from other parts of the organization or resolving impediments. First of all, many of these types of issues are simply resolved by having cross-functional teams, autonomous product teams in place. This setup already reduces the need to have dependencies to other parts of the organization. Nevertheless, dependencies to other teams or parts of the organization or even outside of the organization might still exist. The Agile community has worked on dependency management and there are many different approaches available. A steering committee is not the right tool to address dependencies. Number 4, regular reviews of the business case and the value you delivered. For that, the sprint review session is a good starting place. In case you do something else than Scrum, you can create your own regular review meeting that includes the delivery team and the product manager or the product owner. Number 5, gate reviews and approvals to continue. Since you anyway regularly and quickly release within each iteration or sprint, you don't need gate reviews anymore. Number 6, showing progress. In a STIKO, you might usually show a chart that compares your actual achievement versus your plan. You might do this with earned value charts. In an agile environment, you have regular showcases. Our team, for instance, would showcase their progress every 2 weeks by demonstrating running software. Often we were able to have interested people join the showcase so that they could follow the progress of the application development. Still not convinced? What if you absolutely need a steering committee in place? If you find yourself in such an environment that absolutely prescribes having a steerco, there are many possibilities to amend these meetings in order to still get some values out of them. Again, let me point you to Mark Schwartz. He presents an example on how to set up a governance model in an agile environment with the US federal government as a client. One topic you need to tackle is the loss of control for the management, or let's say the perceived loss of control. And that's the core of a digital transformation. It's about changing the mindset. It's about what we call a courageous executive. And that's a topic for another learning breakthrough video. So That's it for now. Thanks for watching. If you like these stories on learning breakthroughs, subscribe to my channel and click the bell. Also let me know your feedback and your stories. What worked for you? What are your challenges? I'm Martin Kramer. Thanks for watching. Bye.